Welcome to my program Bashy's Corner. The aim of this program is to have a respectful but in-depth discussion with our guest. As we all know, Danes will be going to vote for a new government on 18th of June this year. We have a social democratic government which is supported by Red-Green Alliance and other parties. So I have invited today a very special guest. My guest is Finn Sørensen. He's a member of Danish Parliament since 2011 and he would like to be re-elected. So that's why I invited him to my studio and tried to discuss with him the reason and all his life. Finn, thank you very much for accepting our invitation on such a short notice. And as I said that about parliamentary elections, our audience is English speaking, ethnic minorities in Denmark. Most of them, maybe they don't know the system, they don't know your party. So I would start with you as a person. Who is Finn Sørensen?
First of all, I want to thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy that I can be a part of your program.
Thank you.
And get a chance to address foreign people in Denmark who do not understand Danish so well.
Okay.
What kind of person am I? My background is an ordinary workers' family. My parents were social democrats, so I was in that way educated in that labor movement tradition. Mm-hmm. But I got the chance to get to high school and I spent a very few years in university. So I got some kind of education, but I never finished it. Then I, in a way, turned back to my roots in my very young days, and I became a factory worker. And later on, I became a brewery worker, and I became chairman of the Brewery Workers' Trade Union here in Copenhagen. And so I spent more than 25 years of my working life being what you would call a shop steward in Danish, tillidsmand, an elected person to fight for the interests of the members of the trade union.
We'll take that in detail shortly, but what I'm very interested to ask you is that compared to your other party members, the top guns, you always come across on television and in person as a very balanced and calm and quiet person, When you speak, your words are very clear. You speak in a way that it goes in the heart. Where have you learned that?
Well, I think it has something with my background to do, and the many years on working places, talking to ordinary people, learning how they look upon life, and trying to defend their interests. And if you want to do that, you have to be very clear, and you also must try to speak to the hearts of people, because politics and hearts, it should be all together.
In one alignment.
Yeah.
But how does it fit the image of your party? They talk with big arm movements.
Well, I don't know. We are different people. If you look in our parliamentary group today, there are other persons in my age and with nearly the same background as I, and I think it's a difference that maybe comes from age and social background.
And wisdom.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Okay. As you talked in the beginning, you have studied at the Copenhagen University, but then worked most of your life as a skilled, unskilled person. You have been working as an industrial worker in Carlsberg, Tuborg, with the cable company. And why not teach, Because you're good at explaining, so could have been good for teaching
Thank you very much. But I learned many other things at that time at the university. That was in 67 until 69. Most of all, I learned about Marxism, because that was part of the, almost a part of the education in that time.
68 generation.
Yeah. So I was very inspired of the socialist way of thinking. And with a socialist way of thinking, you also must have a social practice. socialist practice. And I realized that my place would be among the workers on the Danish working sites.
Yes.
And as I said before, it was kind of turning back to my roots when I made that choice.
But Finn, a socialist way of thinking, does it still exist in 2015 in Denmark?
Yes, surely it does. Maybe many people do not realize themselves as socialists. But when you fight for the welfare state,
yes,
so that ordinary people and poor people, they can have a good life. That's one of the fundamental principles of socialist policy.
Yes.
And that's why I and my party stands for.
But many people think of socialism, communism as this Russian-style dictatorship.
Yeah. We have some problems, to put it mildly, with the labor movement history. The way that they treated socialist principles in the Soviet Union and the other countries in the East Bloc, as you say. And it has made it much more difficult for left-wing socialists to explain what really socialism is. But we have to criticize all the faults. But first of all, we have to be clear about what we want ourselves.
What you preach.
What
you preach.
Yeah.
From 1968 to 1972, you were an actor, author. You were also a musician for a group called the Red Mother, I think it says. Tell us something about this exotic time.
Sorry. Yes, in a way it was. It was a very fascinating time, and I am so happy that I had the chance to be a part of that, because there was a broad political progressive movement in the whole society, not only among artists and educated people, students and so on, but also among the workers. There were many fights on the working sites, long strikes around the beginning of and around the years of 1970. And you also had the broad movement in Paris in '68.
True.
And in many countries in the Western world, there was kind of an uprising against the old authorities, against capitalism,
True.
against undemocratic ways of ruling the countries.
So is it that time you got involved in trade union?
Yeah, I think that in the beginning of the 70s, I became very active politically, and also a bit later in the trade union, which I, of course, was a member of from the start.
And when did you make this switch from trade union to politics?
It was very late. It was when the right-wing government won the election in the year of 2001. Then I thought, now it is a very serious thing that happens here. It will be very bad for working people, for poor people, for ethnic minorities, when we looked upon the Dansk Folkeparti as a supporter of that government. So I thought I would have to use more of my spare time to engage in politics. And later on I ran for parliament in 2007. But
so that is when you became full-time politician?
No, because I was a trade unionist as my work, but in my spare time I spent more time in being an active member of the party Enhedslisten, Red Green Alliance.
Yes. You also took part in parliamentary election in 2007 from different cities, but then in 2011 you chose Copenhagen, and that got elected. Was it this Johanna Schmidt effect on the politics that brought you in?
To be honest, I did not expect to be elected at that time.
Okay.
Because I was placed as a number 3 on our list of candidates here in Copenhagen.
From that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
And none of us expected that this position, that we would get 3 mandates in the Copenhagen area. And Yeah, to be honest, I think that Johannes' very good performance, her very what do you
charming
say?
and very
charming
direct.
and engaged. She
Yes,
is so engaged and so precise in her political communication, and I, of course, think I have to thank her very much for my seat in the parliament.
Okay. From labor union to complex Danish politics, you know, I mean, in the parliament, you know, there's a lot of discussion, people repeat the same thing, while in trade union, as you say, you do a lot of practical thing. So how did you fit in that, you know, mindset of professional politics in parliament?
Maybe the difference is not that big, because the fundamental task is the same. You represent people, you have to do your best to take care of their interests, and that's the same job if you're a trade unionist or in the parliament. And it is almost the same group of people, working people, ordinary people, people who have in some ways bad life or big challenges in their life. So you have to defend their interests. But of course, it is different matters. But you might know, as a brewery worker, we have been in very many fights with the employers through the years. And through all this struggle against the employers, maybe I got some, tough skin. Yeah.
I have looked at your Facebook and your parliamentary page. You are a spokesperson of many committees, you're a member of many committees, and you have also other duties and posts. How do you manage all those activities in this, beautiful age?
Well, thank you very much. I think it's because I have a good, as we call it in Denmark, I don't know the English words, a good bagland.
Background.
My family supports me in this job very much, but I must realize that sometimes it is a bit rough for them, especially for my wife, of course. And then we have a very good and strong team in Enhedslisten, Christiansborg. Yes. A very good and strong team. We are very different. We have very different experiences and background, but we are very good at working together and supporting each other. And when you have a team like that, you can do many things without breaking down.
Okay. Now I want to come to your party, because since you brought it up, your party, Red Green Alliance, or Unity Party as I call it, they call themselves, also sometimes they claim that they are immigrant friendly party, that we can count on them. How would you explain that title that party has taken upon itself?
I don't know if we use that title ourselves.
In the media they do.
The media do. We fight for equal rights for everybody, no matter the color of your skin, your nationality, or what you believe in, your faith. We believe and fight for equal rights for everybody. And we fight for solidarity among workers and solidarity among people.
Okay.
And we know that if we stick to these principles, we can build a strong society, an equal society with welfare for all people, no matter where they come from.
That's true. On your internet pages, your party ideology stands for, and I'm quoting, it says, socialism, eco-socialism, anti-capitalism, and Euroscepticism. Nothing about solidarity with poor people, solidarity with ethnic minorities, or other powerless groups. Finn, I'm really shocked that a party like yours, doesn't talk about those people who vote for them.
I think you might have missed some pages.
Well,
because
quite deeply.
Yeah, I think you have, because I know in person one of my subjects in Parliament is to defend and to be a spokesman of the social affairs. Okay. And we have many pages on our internet site where we very thoroughly criticize the reforms that have been made by this government you know, on the unemployment support for people and on social welfare. They have cut down a lot of in a lot of matters, and we criticize that, and we very thoroughly explain what happens to unemployed and sick people in these years.
Okay.
And we also present alternatives on each of these reforms. So I think you missed some pages.
Okay, let's say that. But what I would wish, you know, as a person with minority, that your party is very visible, both on social media, internet. Say that you also stand shoulder to shoulder with powerless people. You know, I think maybe you should look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I agree, and I think all in the party agree. But when you look on all our candidates, there are very few people who have another ethnic origin than most of the people who live in Denmark.
And that's what I wanted to ask you that. Why?
Yeah, maybe we have not been systematic enough to be among these people who come from other countries and to talk with them. And maybe I think we do that, but we are not good enough at inviting them into our party and giving them the chance to be politicians, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a weakness in our party, and I think that everybody in the party agrees on that. And I'm very happy this year because we have not Top Guns with another ethnic origin than Danish. But if you look upon the list, we in the whole country, I'm very happy to say that we have some more people who are pushing to get into politics, and I'm very happy about that.
But I'm also happy that you are so honest that you say that this is something missing, because I will tell you honestly, we have tried to invite Pernilla Skipper, Johanna Schmidt, and even some people from your board, but nobody came. You are the first Top Gun in Enlistan who came to our program. So I think that maybe it will be good that you don't take ethnic minorities for granted that they will always vote for you. Is it so? Why so this arrogance? You know, they're going to vote for us anyway.
I think it's not an expression of arrogance if one of our Top Guns, as you call them, do not have the time to be in your program. But I think that we don't take any vote for granted. Either ordinary working people's vote, or ethnic minorities' votes, or young people's votes. We don't take anything for granted. We know we have to fight for every vote. We have to convince every person of our policy.
Then, okay, let's come to this question of integration. You know, does Enlistan has a national plan of integration, how to integrate refugees and minorities?
Yeah, the most important thing is to create more real jobs in society, because every experience shows that, and I've been there for many years, that when you create more jobs, you get more space on the labor market.
True.
And then it will be easier for people from other countries with other backgrounds to get a job. And I think that getting a job, being part of the community in a working site, being a colleague, getting the same rights and the same duties as other people in a working site, that will be the best way of integration and the best way to learn the Danish language.
Interesting enough, because you said that my next question was about this high unemployment among ethnic minorities. This almost 50%, and especially among women and elderly. Hopefully that your party gets lots of votes, and the newspaper tells us today that Red Alliance, you know, will be 50.5%. It means they're going to win the election.
Okay.
Finn, you being person with this background who understand those issues very well, would you promise me that you will sit down with your party leadership and tell them when they make government or try to support this government, they do something about this unemployment?
Yeah, And that's one of our top questions on the party's program, because we know that's the way to good integration, that's the best way of fighting poverty in society, and that's the best way to have an integrated society, not only when you speak about ethnic minorities, but of all groups. So that is one of our top questions.
Okay. Now I come to another issue which bothers me a lot, and that is, I'm sure you are very well aware, this harsh tone in the society, in the media, the politician, not only Danish People Party, but also from Conservative and Venstre, they are all bashing minorities and especially Muslims. Can Enhedslisten do something about it to challenge them?
I think we try every time we hear it, and I think especially Johanne Schmidt-Nielsen, our political spokesman, is very good at that.
True.
And we have to not bash, but we have to be very clear and say that is not in order. That's not acceptable. And I'm very sad about, and I think it has been a bit worse in this election than I never experienced before, because the right-wing parties, I think they're kind of desperate. How could they get back to power? There's an old trick. Try to divide people. Try to say us and them. It's very dangerous for the whole society. And that's why it's very important for the whole left wing, the Social Democrats, the Socialistisk Folkeparti and Enhedslisten, and even the Radikale Venstre, for the Red Alliance, if you call it that.
Sure.
It's very important for us to be very clear about that.
So isn't it good that maybe your party takes a lead and make a campaign somehow?
Yeah, I think we try. Every time we see any racist expression, we are against it. And it's even if it comes from some ethnic minorities. For instance, we have some fundamentalists who are racists in another way, just against the Danes. And we have to explain everybody it is dangerous for the society. And I'm very happy that the vast majority of the Danes, and even people who come from other countries, they know that this is dangerous and we have to fight it.
Okay, so why should people of minority background vote for Enhedslisten? Why should they vote for your party?
I think they should vote for Enhedslisten because we stand for equal rights and solidarity.
Okay.
Equal rights for everybody, no matter where they come from, no matter the color of their skin, no matter their religion.
That's a very good slogan. I want you to look in the camera and tell ethnic minorities what you want from them.
I hope that if you agree with me in my point of view, which you have heard in this program, I hope you will vote for the Red-Green Alliance, and that I would be very happy if you vote for me. If you vote for me, you'll get a person who stands on the principle of equal rights for everybody, no matter origin, no matter where we come from, no matter the color of our skin, and no matter of our religion. And we stand for solidarity among workers, so that we get good wages, good education, good housing, and social welfare, and solidarity among people.
Thank you very much, Finn. Wonderful to have a good discussion with you. And I would also say to our viewers, especially people with ethnic minority background, that you heard Finn what he said. He comes across very sincere, very gentle person, and I hope that you will support person like him and put them in the parliament so that we can get rid of Danish People's Party. Until next time, see you. Thank you very much.